Interested in media coverage with over 80,000 podcast playbacks per month, along with automated outreach to thousands of customized targets to grow your revenue more efficiently? With over $8 billion in new sales pipeline growth delivered to our partners so far, we can help. Please reach out for more information. Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to the Supply Chain Influencers. I'm Mike Vincent, and my guest today, he's a CEO, he's an investor, what is it, Palm Beach Capital, I guess it is, and you're an OCD-inflicted entrepreneur. And this is not my descriptions; those are your own descriptions. He's not team Higham, although there probably is a team Higham. Do you do that at home? Go Team Higham.
I am my own team, a team of one.
A team of one.
Yeah, Team Higham.
That's it. So it is Tim Higham, and it's my distinct honor to have you on, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. It's beautiful down here in Florida today. We're actually having a winter for a change, so I think it's going to be about 60 degrees today here in Florida, which is cold for us.
It is.
Yeah, my son went to school this morning with his woolly hat on, and
come on, he's not that.
God, 60 degrees.
Did he really? Okay. See, I moved from Cleveland, Ohio. Well, actually, Altoona, Pennsylvania, right in the middle of the Laurel Highlands where they make Rolling Rock beer, to Miami directly. And, so there, everybody, and it got quite cold that winter. It was down into the 60s down in Miami for a couple of times. Actually, the heat went off and I thought my house was burning down.
Yeah, I know, because when the heat kicks on, you get that burning smell from all the dust.
Yeah, all the dust burns off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, this is, I'll be honest with you, between October and, maybe March, this is the best time in Florida.
Oh, yeah, amen.
Most of the days are 75, no humidity. It's the summer that sucks here. This is perfect for us.
No, when people were like, you're moving to Miami, you're crazy. It's so hot, it's awful. I say, yeah, it's hot. 3 months out of the year, you can't go outside unless you're going to jump directly into the pool. Yeah. The rest of the year, it's fantastic. Or I could just live in Cleveland, Ohio, where 9 months out of the year it's cold, gray, and it sucks.
Yeah. I'll take the former all day long.
All day long, brother, all day long. So, man, if anybody doesn't know you in logistics, I don't know what they're doing. They're certainly not watching or reading posts on LinkedIn. That is for sure, right?
Yeah, I look at LinkedIn. It's like free therapy. So yeah, it's funny. I think I said this to Chad Olson the other day. A few weeks ago. We were talking about how often we post, and I'm like, yeah, something that bugs me or is on my mind, and I think about it and I ruminate on it, and then I get up in the morning and I post something, and it's like the world's best free therapy.
It really is, but I love the way, and I follow Chad, and I have conversations with him as well. And the two of you seem to be able to do it without picking a fight with anybody, though. It seems
my intent is never to pick a fight. I try to provide observations, and observations can have opinions surrounded around them, but I'm never trying to shove anything ever down somebody's throat.
No, and it seems to be like when you hit those, and I think they're hilarious, and some of them are just fantastic, well thought out, that they just don't, there's nobody that's going to be offended by these. They're just not. They're well thought out. They're very educational, and they're really great pieces of advice, if you ask me. And not to blow smoke up your ass or anything like that.
Well, no, I appreciate that.
Fantastic.
I do. I really, truly appreciate that. The one that I did, I think yesterday, was looking at liquidity preference, and I'm a personal investor in several startups, and look, let's be honest. I'm getting older now. I'm 58 years old. I did a podcast yesterday with somebody, and and I explained that I'm at the end of my career. He was 30 years old. I was the first investor in Shipper CRM, for example. Paul from Freight Caviar.
PBJ, he's awesome. I love him.
Yeah, Paul. Everybody knows Paul and Christian, and they came to me a couple of years ago, and they were, in their 20s, late 20s. And I tried to explain to everybody that I'm nearing the end of my career at 58, and these guys are all coming up. I had help when I was their age. I had people that were 58 then that they're probably all dead now, but they helped me through the ranks. And so I feel there's an obligation for me to, to help them. And so they call me, they DM me, they email me. And sometimes the liquidity preference one that I said the other day, people are taking investment money. They often don't know what they're getting into. And they ask me, and I don't ask for a fee. I don't want stock in their company. I'm not looking for anything other than I will give them advice for free. They can take it or leave it. And then sometimes I do a post about it because I think, other people are going to be interested in this. this is the difference between losing your company and making a lot of money when you sell your company with one paragraph in an agreement. So let's make sure that everybody understands how it works.
Yeah, and I mean it's brilliant, and what you put together the list, it really takes it from one range to the other range, and you see posts, and I don't think that it explains it quite as well as yours does when people say, hey, they're celebrating, hey, we just got $65 million we just raised or whatever it was, or 6.5 billion or whatever it is for AI people or the AI people, we can get into that. But that's not really, at times, it's really not a celebration. It's like, oh man, what did you do? You just sold your soul.
Well,
Or
yeah, what
even
they
if it
did.
is a good deal, it's like, now the work begins, bro.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. With that, that 65 million or 6 million or 600 million, whatever it is, it's just the size of the hole that you just dug for yourself that you've got to get out of in order to be able to make something at the other side. So, I tell these kids all the time, if you bootstrap, it's hard up front, but you own the company, you own the decisions, and you own the exit. But if you take somebody else's money, you don't own the journey. You'll jump up and down happy for maybe a few days, a few weeks, maybe a few months. You get to pay yourself a little bit more money than you ordinarily would do. But it's kind of like it's like drinking alcohol. The first drink or two are great, but if you drink too many, it'll make you comatose and kill you. So these kids have just got to understand that there is a price for taking on investor money. And there's nothing wrong for some people, and that's okay. But they've just got to understand what it means when they get into it.
yeah, and I've talked to and I've worked with people who are owners and founders who even openly admitted that they were kind of addicted to that VC money, to getting that next raise. And that's kind of what they did. And there was another post a bit back that you did about, a $10,000 investment in Tupperware is now worth like 3 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a fantastic, if people read it and went up, but if you read what you put through there, the 3 or 4 points that you put through there, it was a fantastic actual, the death of an empire, just because they believe in themselves too much and don't pay attention to what's really going on. And one of the other things about that, we could get into a little bit more, but I wanted to bring up this point, is I was talking to a professor from University of Michigan who wrote the book Beyond Shareholder Primacy, right? And one of his points in that book was that, like, the vast majority of wealth creation in industry this year is exactly what Tupperware did to themselves. It's buying back that stock to create more value.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like the primary thing of American business these days. It's not even a
There's so many
product.
examples of that, and it's because people find themselves in an executive position at a large organization, and they realize that the only way for true riches for them on the board of directors, or if they're a C-level type of employee or
Yeah.
a high-level executive, the only way to riches for them is essentially to create wealth by manipulating the financial situation of the company that they work for. So, for example, Boeing's a great example. Boeing, used to be the most amazing company that was revered around the world, and now are just a big pile of stinking poo because what they've done is bought back, they made profits, and rather than invest those profits into the future of the company and pay down debt, they basically doubled down. They borrowed more money on top of the profits. They bought their stock to make their stock go up in price. And guess who was holding that stock could make money on it? It was the executives of the company. So
Yeah.
for a couple of decades, this isn't a year or two, this is like 2 decades worth. So what
Right.
happens is Mr. Smith and Mrs. Jones that worked there, they had $400,000 worth of stock options, and then all of a sudden now that's worth 600,000. Now it's worth 3 million, and the stock getting bought by the company. And then by the time 20 years later that Mr. Smith or Mrs. Jones are ready to retire, that stock is now worth $15 million. So they sell the stock on the open market, they go and retire, but they leave a shell of a company. But they got their 15 million of retirement money, but they left behind them just destruction. And it happens all the time. There's so many examples of big companies that live on hubris. They do everything that they can to make themselves rich at the expense of the corporate infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was getting to. And I'm glad you dug into that, because it was a brilliant post. It was a really an example of why I really wanted to have you on the program, is because these aren't just little poignant little or little humorous posts that you put out there that many people do. right? If you think about these are really great lessons. Like you talked about, both of those that we talked about were great lessons. And I would dare to say that even the ones you put out there that are meant to be completely humorous are the same way. Like your life coach one that you put out recently, right? Which was fantastic.
Well, that's true. This is true. The end of the year comes, and all of a sudden, I start getting these DMs from people. Starting around the end of October, people, saying, "Hey, 2025 is coming. You should get." Basically, the general premise is you should get a coach. Everybody needs a coach. LeBron James has a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. Everybody needs
Yeah.
a coach. And so, but what's funny is I occasionally I use almost always just delete, delete, delete. But occasionally, I will click on the person and you find that they're just young, inexperienced. They've
Yeah.
never held down a real actual job themselves. And quite often they're in a different country. So they're in Brazil or they're in
Yeah.
Canada, and it's like, if I'm going to get a coach, I'm sure that LeBron James's coach is not in Brazil or Canada. He's probably shows up to LeBron's door, every morning to do his workouts. So it's just amazing to me. I wonder to myself, do these people really get some customers from this? Because, if you've got to be pretty darn stupid to look at some of these profiles and go, man, that's the coach for me. That 23-year-old in Brazil is somebody that I want to help me become a better human being.
Right, right. No, you're exactly right. And the picture you have of the young woman, and she's vaping, and hey, I'm a life coach and I'm 23 years old. This is great. So Tim, you're a successful investor, CEO. You're 58 years old. You've been around the block, but hey, I'm going to help you out, brother.
Yeah. And,
Well,
and listen, and by the way, I'm not saying I don't need help. My wife tells me I need help all the time. I'm not saying I don't need help. I'm just saying I don't need that help, and I wonder why these people are wasting their time. And so, is it? I could go
well,
on and on about the ridiculousness now of social media and the internet. 20 years ago when I started, I was involved in this first wave, which was the .com, wave.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. Me too.
yeah,
Yeah,
1995 to 1999, everybody was riding that wave. It was amazing. I
yeah.
started my first company there and sold it just before the .com bust, and it was amazing. And then I saw everything go downhill, and I saw why it all went downhill. And I'm seeing the same kind of echoes today of things that are happening. There's this enshittification, they call it, of the internet. You go on YouTube and everybody's got a scam on how, they can help you use AI, to make $1 million, or, how they'll sell you a course to make $2 million in a week. And
Sure.
it's just ridiculous. And it's because they're all leveraging AI to all post literally millions of videos about the same thing to make them look snazzy, with artificial intelligence voices as the narrator, artificial intelligence as the images and the video, artificial intelligence did the script. And at the end of the day, some of these people are making hundreds of these videos and uploading them. So the entire internet is just becoming just the world's biggest junkyard of crap. And I wonder sometimes if, like LinkedIn we just discussed, if will LinkedIn end up in the same state of these other, the TikToks, the Facebooks, and the YouTubes of the world? Because will AI now be just posting for everybody? Can I write, some code? I mean, I know I can. I'm a programmer. Could I write some code to create 300 versions of me to appeal to 300 disparate
Yeah,
parts
100.
of the
You
population?
absolutely could. You absolutely could. But the thing that in this realm, it's been around a long time, but it was less prevalent when you had to do work to get in front of people, right? You didn't back when I started in you know uh, in logistics, when you were selling, you didn't go on the internet and do this type. There wasn't any. It wasn't there. Email didn't exist. None of that stuff. Cell phones didn't exist, right? When you figured out what people did, you went to their business and you figured out what the hell they did,
Yeah.
right? And before you snuck your way onto the dock to talk to the traffic manager, you took a look at the yard to see what carriers were out there, so you knew who your competition was,
Yep.
right? And then when a guy slyly got up to go to the bathroom, you took a look at the invoices to figure out what the pricing was, right? I mean,
Yep.
this is how business was done back then, right? So there was intention. Now you don't have to have intention. And it becomes very, very obvious in the things that you're saying right now, right? And the junk that's out there
Well, let me ask you a
is,
question. Have
yeah,
people got lazy? Because because I know
Yes.
I get so many emails and DMs coming in from people I don't know trying to get for me to buy everything under the sun, right? Their services, wealth management, will you invest in my company, blah, blah, blah. People I don't know. The amount of emails I get is just insane. And so I wonder sometimes, are they just become lazy? Because in the old days, you would go to an industrial park if you're in the logistics world, and you would
100%.
literally go knock on doors and shake some hands so you could look you in the eye. And it seems that everybody's said to themselves, you know what, I don't really want to leave the house. It's cold outside. It's raining today. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to send out 4,000 emails and have my box,
Spray and pay and pray.
yeah,
Spray and pray. Yeah. No, they have gotten lazy. Absolutely. Because when I did get an interview, and everybody did that, when you got an interview or a meeting with a traffic manager or a CEO or whoever it was, you always went to that industrial park at least a half hour early, and you drove around to see who else was there.
yeah,
And after the meeting, you cold called all those people. I mean, this is how you did it. I mean, and obviously, it was part of the. If you had any sense when I was in LTL, if you had any sense of LTL, that's how you kill deadhead miles. That's how you create core zones of pickups and deliveries. That's how you do that. It was the same way, but it's also strong business sense because you knew and you understood the business before you did that. Sure, cold calling is a slow spray and pray, but you knew something about it and there was intention behind it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember when I started my career, and I would go to different industrial parks. I would get my meeting with Michael, and I would see Michael, and we'd have a nice meeting. I said, "Oh, by the way, you must know all the other shipping managers in here. Who do you know in here? Oh, I know Jose
Yeah.
across there, and Sarah works for Big Kitchens over here. And oh, really? And so then I would basically, I have got an amazing memory, and I would remember all these names and who they work for, and I would literally leave. I would scratch everything down, and I would go into Big Kitchens, and I would ask for Sarah, and I would say, "Hey, Sarah, how are you doing?" Michael over at Super Glasses sent me over here. He said that you guys are friends. Oh, yeah, how's Michael doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And so
Yeah.
now, we get a very fast friendship going. So
Yeah.
that was just how you did it back in the day.
It's
And
exactly how you did it.
today, people just say, "Well, I'm going to send everybody a spray and pray email and just hope somebody replies."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I don't know if you're a fan of The Office or the American version of The
I love both
Office.
the English one and the American one.
I love them both too, and they're both equally awesome in their own different ways. But when Dwight Schrute is trying to take over Michael's accounts, or whatever, he walks in with Michael's notes and he goes, "So how is your son who is gay?" I mean, he doesn't have it, but that's how it was done. You had these notes on people, and you knew exactly
Yeah,
what was going on, so intention was there. I contend, though, Tim, and let's see if you agree that because of this, it hurts our innovation and it hurts our collaboration because people like yourself have to build a moat around yourself to filter through that crap. And many of the intentional or great ideas or great meetings get lost because of that noise that's there. Do you
yeah.
believe that, or you tell me I'm wrong?
Yeah, I agree. Everybody, no matter who you are being hit from every side, from every form of communication, in order for people to try to get your attention. There is so much noise, and life has become this mechanism of trying to figure out how to get to the top of the pile so I can, get Michael's attention.
Yeah.
And it's just a game of one-upmanship. This is what AI, artificial intelligence. I did posts 2 or 3 years ago saying AI should really be called AU, which is actual unintelligence, because most of it just is not very smart, and that's why people get annoyed by it. Because now things are getting better, and I don't know where things are going. Things have never moved as fast in technology as they do today. I mean, I thought that the .com stuff when the internet was kind of created.
Yeah.
As we all know, by Al Gore.
No, I was just going to say, you mean Al Gore's, the days
Yeah,
of Al Gore.
it was a guy called Tim Berners-Lee, but a British guy actually. He invented TCP/IP, but
So it was
that's another
his fault.
story. My point is that I've never seen things move so quickly as they do today, and that means that the weapons in the hands of all of these young kids that are able to leverage AI is going to just be a tsunami of noise for everybody that is a potential customer of theirs. And
Yes.
so the next wave is going to be, this is not a joke. you know what an ad blocker is because ads got so bad years ago. You're going to
Yes.
start to see people create AI blocker so that it'll answer the phone for you before anything gets through, and it will start to look for subtleties so it can detect whether my phone should ring for me, because if it detects that it's an AI call, it's going to basically not make my phone ring. So I think there's going to be a whole wave of tools coming out that you can subscribe to, and it'll be the equivalent of the ad blocker but for AI.
Yeah, I did not think of that, but I cannot find any way to argue with you. It makes perfect sense, and I actually
Well, I
hope
will
that does
sell it
happen.
to you. Actually, I'm going to start writing it right now.
I think you should start writing it right now. I mean, we're halfway. Well, we're not halfway there, but we're down that path because when my phone rings, it tells me the potential of the spam right on it while it's ringing. It says
Yeah.
low potential, 5%, 100%, whatever it happens to be, right? And it'll even mark telemarketer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why it does that, because I don't have a way to filter it. There's no way I'm going to set mine to allow telemarketer to call me. You know what I mean? That's not going to be an option I'm going to tick.
Yeah. Only let it ring if it says spam.
Yeah, that's it. It's all the spam. Just block all my personal contacts. Block that. I just want spam and telemarketers.
Yeah,
Period. The end.
it's becoming a crazy world, and I think it's going to get worse. And I don't. I said this a couple of days ago to a 20-some-year-old. I'm glad that I'm near the end of my career and not in my mid-20s. Starting out my career, because it's going to be a lot harder for those people to navigate what business is going forward and how to work and how to make business work for you to make money, because there is so much noise. And I think that we continue to see more and more inequality happening for many, many years, everybody's known that only about 1 in 300 human beings have the capability to be a programmer. It's just a statistic that's been around for a long time. 1 in 300, look it up. And
No,
so,
it's true, but that's why schools were eventually were put together. I mean, like the American school system was not put together and designed for everybody to have an equal opportunity. It was designed to figure out who's going to be a janitor and who's going to be a CEO.
yeah, correct.
That's how it was designed. We've bastardized it into what we have now. Now we just have mediocrity, but we can get off that. But I agree with you. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, and so my feeling is that going forward, we're going to see much more. The programmer will become dominant because they will be able to control much more of our society. We're already seeing it with the open AIs.
Yeah.
It's so. But we can talk about this stuff all day long. But I mean, I have 3 or 4 different AI models that I use, and
Okay.
Anybody watching this show, I will tell them, go to ChatGPT, go to Gemini, go to Perplexity, go to 3 or 4 of your favorites and ask it the same question, and just see the results that you get from 3 or 4. All these models are completely free to use, by the way. I mean, there's about a dozen of them today, and ask all 10, 12 of them the same question, and have them all in the tabs and see what they have to say. And I find it so interesting that some of them say basically the same things. Some of them say completely different things. Some of them get statistics right and some get them wrong. And we are going to be working toward a world where these AI systems are going to try to compete with each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going, but it's going to cause a lot of confusion in the marketplace, just because the AIs are now stepping on top of each other. Gemini right now, I think, which is the Google AI, is way beyond ChatGPT. In the last 12 months, ChatGPT in my world has gone kind of down here in my estimation, and Gemini's up here. Now, why is that? If you think about it, Gemini is run by Google, and Google has access to the internet, every Google search, YouTube,
you're exactly
every YouTube
right.
transcript and video that was ever created. I mean, we can go on and on. And so I think that things like Gemini are going to get better and better and better, because they have access to information. So if I was to teleport myself back here in 50 or 100 years, because of course I'll be dead, I'm interested to see, will it be just one big AI model, one corporation that controls everything because they have all the information? I don't know, but it's something to think about.
It is have you ever asked one like GPT what it thinks of Gemini?
No, you know what? I'm going to do that in a minute. That's a great
Yeah, just
idea.
ask GPT to say, "Hey, which AI should I use?" Or if it wasn't using GPT, who should I use? And see what it
So
says.
that'll be my LinkedIn post tomorrow. I'm going to do that, and
Fantastic,
I
fantastic.
will do that, and I will. I'll tag you on it.
Please do, please do. I did Kevin Hill, Brush Past
Yeah.
Research now, right? He was, so he and I have been friends for years. We worked together at Freight Waves, et cetera. In fact, I'm one of the guys who hired him, but he, we were doing a podcast and he asked it, we were talking about baseball or whatever, and we couldn't remember who won the World Series last year. So we asked it, oh, no, we were talking about, Cleveland and the Cubs. And we were saying, okay, who hasn't won a World Series? And it said the Rangers. Except they won it last year. I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, but it was, you can ask ChatGPT who won the last, who has
and
not
the
won.
reason for that, I think, is because ChatGPT is only using. I think it was 20. If the free ChatGPT only uses the 2022 and before kind of internet world.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is? All right.
Yeah. So if you subscribe, I think that you can get the more modern answer, the correct answer, because it
The
uses,
correct answer. So you have to pay money to get the right
today's
answer.
world and beyond, yeah.
You have to pay money to get the right answer. I
Yeah.
get you. That's fantastic marketing.
Welcome
I
to
love that.
society.
I love it. So what do you think of AI in the logistics space? All right. And more importantly, I mean, you're in a bunch of different spaces. I understand that, with your investments, et cetera.
But my main product, AscendTMS, is my main.
Yes, exactly. So from that perspective, what do you think of AI and people going, hey, we're powered by AI, et cetera? Is AscendTMS, is it actually powered by AI or
okay?
And
So,
I'm not, but
yeah, no. Listen.
What are your thoughts on it?
I'll
I just want to get your
I'll
thoughts.
shoot you straight. Nothing is powered by AI.
Right.
AI is something. It's like I'm wearing shoes. I'm not powered by shoes, but my shoes they are part of me when I'm walking along. But they
I don't know.
power
My
me.
vans are pretty cool, man. They're pretty powerful. My custom
So,
vans.
so we just announced, our Easy AI product. Why Easy AI? Because most of we have thousands and thousands of paying customers,
Yeah.
companies that use the product, and so they're confused, and they came to us and said, not to me personally, but they came to our team and said, "Hey, what's this AI thing? How do I use it?" Because they're confused. Most of our customers, they don't know how to use APIs. They can barely spell www. What they know how to use is a web browser and their email. And so what we said to them is, look, what are the things that you want to do? And most of them say, well, it'd be great if it could answer my phone and answer these 5 questions that we get a lot. Is my load on time? Can you tell me what my balance is? The
Yeah.
general questions that come in that just take a human person's time. It's not an offensive call. There's no negotiations. But at first, can it just do that stuff? Can it make a phone call outbound to say, hey, Ernie, I see the last check call we did was here. Are you on time? Can we help you with anything? And if Ernie says, oh, yeah, I do need help. I need an advance for fuel, or, hey, I got to dock door 7 and there's nobody there. Then it can transfer it to Sarah in the office. So, but 9 times out of the 10, Ernie says, yep, I'm fine. I'm driving along. Everything's going great. Great. Thank you. Bye. So we've realized that most people are not asking for maybe that 5 or 10% of the market. The CH Robinsons and TQLs are building some amazing, sophisticated things. But 95% of our market are just human beings that finished high school. They're like me and you. They're not, they're just normal people that want to be directed on the kind of things it can do to make their lives a little bit more simple.
Yeah, take care of some of those menial tasks to make them.
Menial tasks. So the next year or two is going to be this influx of the real simple things, and we're going to be integrating it into Ascend, and it'll be completely free, included as part of Ascend. Are we doing this on our own? We're looking at it. All of these AI models, all the technology is available for free. But we've been talking to the main companies that do this. I mean, Happy Robot, everybody knows those guys. A load partner, Garrett over there, complete genius. I love that guy. Vuma, they just raised money from I think 13 or 14 million. So we're having these conversations with experts in the field to try to decide, do we build it ourselves or do we work with somebody else? But 3 years from now, if we're having this conversation, it'll be in every TMS. It'll do all the basic things, and there'll be no charge for it, or the charge will be menial. It'll be $10, $20 a month to switch that part of the AI on. That's what AI is going to be for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Do you think, because it hasn't happened yet, do you think the voice broker ever dies?
No,
Because
I don't.
I think in 2011 they were supposed to be dead already or something like
Yeah,
that.
this
It's
has
been a
been
while.
more freight is moved through brokerage today than ever, and the
Yeah.
reason for that is there's for anybody watching this, please understand that you're not going to get rid of brokers. Shippers look at a broker as a outsourced transportation department. I
Yeah,
can either
exactly.
hire 3 or 4 people myself in my office, or I can go to Michael's brokerage and I can outsource it and have them do it. And then if we've got no freight, I don't have that fixed expense. If we've got lots of freight, I don't mind paying them 13, 14, 15% margins because they have to make money. And it also provides a line in the sand from a liability perspective. If there's a $1 million lawsuit, the brokerage takes that on, and that liability doesn't come to me, the shipper. So
Yeah.
brokerages are around for many reasons, and they will be around for many decades to come. So I think the voice broker is going to be around. It's just the voice broker, the traditional broker, is going to be able to do more with less. So,
Yeah.
the old number was, hey, a good brokerage should be $1 million in revenue per employee. So 10 people, 10 million. Simple math, whether you agree or disagree. But what's going to happen is it's going to be $2 million for every 10 people. So that 10 people will be doing 20 million, or 5 people will be doing the 10 million. It'll just be less people doing the same amount of revenue that you were doing, 10 years earlier. That's,
Mm.
I think, what AI is going to mean.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And we got a half hour, brother. So we're gonna just end it right there, brother. Is there something new coming at Ascend that you wanna talk about or boast about, or do you have any parting thoughts for everybody? Any words of wisdoms, like hey, go buy all the milk and eggs because the storm Cora is coming, or
There's always something new. Easy AI is this thing I just mentioned. We are working with a well-known name right now, about working with them. We're about to sign the contract, but I can't say anything because I don't know when this will be
right,
aired.
right.
But yeah, hit me up in a few days, and I'll tell you what we signed. But it's a big deal. I think
That's
let
a
me just say
that's a
this.
great teaser, man. You gotta have to follow Tim.
Let me say this. The future will be marketplaces where
Yeah.
trusted parties with freight and trusted parties with capacity will come together in a trusted environment to completely transact in a trusted way. Marketplaces, that will be the future.
I love it. Fantastic. Hey, Tim, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for hey, joining us for this conversation and downloading, listening, watching, whatever you guys are doing. And hey, everybody, peace and love. Peace and love, Tim.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.